So I just spoke about how Mitch McConnell told reporters he doesn't like Republicans' chances at winning the Senate in 2022 because Senate races have a lot to do with candidate quality, sort of alluding to the fact that he doesn't think a lot of these Republican candidates are high-quality candidates and are a little bit too out there to win these elections. Let's take a look again at the clip as a reminder.
I think there's probably a greater likelihood the House flips than the Senate. Senate races are just different. They're statewide. Candidate quality has a lot to do with the outcome.
Well, another person, in addition to Sean Hannity, who is furious with McConnell's comments here, is Donald Trump, who, of course, has a vested interest in the outcome of the 2022 midterms because he needs to see this big red wave with as many of his candidates winning as possible in order to feed into the narrative that you need Trump as the figurehead of the Republican Party if you want to win back the White House in 2024. So Trump made a statement on Truth Social bashing McConnell, which isn't all that new, really. Trump has been treating McConnell as a piñata for years now, but he even went so far as to bring McConnell's wife into the mix and call her crazy. Trump said, quote, "Why do Republican senators allow a broken-down hack politician, Mitch McConnell, to openly disparage hardworking Republican candidates for the United States Senate? This is such an affront to honor and to leadership. He should spend more time and money helping them get elected and less time helping his crazy wife and family get rich on China." So I believe that what Donald Trump is doing here is setting the groundwork in place to have something else to blame the 2022 midterm defeats on in the event that his candidates lose their respective races. And he really just has so many built-in excuses at this point. Like if an anti-Trumper or a half-Trump supporting candidate loses their race, well, he can just jump in and say, that's because they were against me, they were not a true pro-Trump candidate, and that's exactly why they lost. If you have a pro-Trump but doesn't want to talk about him too much type of candidate, someone like a Dr. Oz, for example, and they lose, well, Trump could jump in and say, well, that's because they weren't embracing me enough, right? I tried to do a rally in their home state, and they turned me down. If they had embraced me more, clearly they would have won. And then in this sort of situation, if you have someone who is a full-on pro-Trump supporting candidate, where those excuses that I laid out previously wouldn't work, now he can just blame Mitch McConnell. He can say that, well, Mitch didn't believe in the candidate, and the NRSC, the National Republican Senatorial Committee, they didn't spend enough on their race, and that's exactly why they lost. It has nothing to do with me. And then the all of the above excuse he can always use is that there was voter fraud, so you always have that one in your back pocket too. That's a favorite among Republicans these days. And then the second interesting thing about this post by Trump is the choice to go after Mitch McConnell's wife, who is Elaine Chao. Chao worked in Trump's cabinet. She was his transportation secretary, and she actually resigned in protest after the January 6th Capitol riots. So apparently that's what got her on Trump's bad side, and that's why Trump sees her as crazy now. And you got to wonder how Mitch McConnell is going to respond to this, if he's going to say anything about it at all, because we know that McConnell has been very wishy-washy about Trump in recent years. He clearly doesn't like Trump. He doesn't like the power that Trump has over him and the rest of the Republican Party. But at the same time, he knows that his Kentucky constituents like Trump, and he knows that if he wants to remain in charge of the Republicans in the Senate, he still has to at least give lip service to Trump being in charge of everything, and because otherwise they'll decide to oust him as the minority leader. And so he's in this horrible position of having to maybe defend the person who just insulted his wife. It's exactly what Ted Cruz had to face a couple of years ago, where Trump called Cruz's wife ugly, and despite how humiliating it was, Cruz eventually had to come around and defend Trump, back him, support him, phone bank for him, and just become a normal Trumpist. So we'll see if Mitch McConnell decides to go the Ted Cruz route, or if he'll have a little bit more courage and decide to stand up for his wife. What an incredible situation that Mitch McConnell finds himself in. And clearly Trump hasn't learned his lesson that you shouldn't go after people's spouses, because why would he? Ted Cruz let him get away with it, so maybe Mitch McConnell will too. And will this lead to McConnell being more aggressive against Trump? I'm not going to hold my breath.
Let's talk about VPNs, virtual private networks. Even if you're using incognito mode on your browser, if you're not using a VPN, everything you do online can be recorded by your internet provider, and that is permanent because they're selling it. Search engines, Social media companies are also tracking your every move. You only need one thing to protect yourself from all of it: private internet access, one of our sponsors. It's a VPN. It's simple. You take a moment and you download it, you turn it on, and you're protected and you stay protected, and that's it. VPNs can also keep your connection secure from hackers. Important every time you check your bank account or 401k or pension. Otherwise, it can all be out in the open. Private internet access never records or stores user data. They've even proven this policy multiple times in court. Their software is open source to show that there's no data being logged. This transparency is why private internet access is the VPN I use. And my audience gets 82% off, so you can stay protected for just $2.11 a month. Plus, you'll get 3 months free. Go to privateinternetaccess.com/Pacman. The link is down below.